You are now tuned into Flippin' the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome all to episode 58 of Flippin' the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante, and we're here to celebrate. We're here to, I don't know, it's not really a celebration, but it feels good to get a win.
It's our first victory podcast.
Yeah, like, it feels kind of good.
It only took to October.
Did you know that Eagles are 1-0 when Kayvon Wallace starts?
That's true. Undefeated when the Flippin' the Birds podcast.
Yeah.
So,
how are you feeling after the game? I mean, there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad. A lot of emotions.
To me, it's hard to. I mean, of course, a win's a win, and then you're right now you're in first place. You know, at 1-2-1. What a
irony of the NFC East.
What a dominant record that is. For me, it's so hard to get really crazy excited over it because we faced a 49ers team. Yeah, George Kittle gashed. Absolutely.
Bro, 15 receptions and like 185 yards.
15 for 15. Targeted 15 times, caught 15 catches.
And then Beathard comes in and it's like he was unstoppable.
I'm of the opinion that if Beathard started the game, we would have lost. Nick Mullins was so bad. Like number 47 and like one of the first few plays of the game, Mullins completely whiffed on the fullback and he was wide open because number 47 had no idea where he was.
But he wasn't responsible for it. Let's make that clear.
Jim Schwartz said, number 47
has no responsibilities.
Has won a lot of games for us. Fans, think that it's his fault when someone else missed an assignment. He's just the closest guy there. No, he sucks.
I mean, if you're the closest guy there, shouldn't you be doing something?
He is bad. I'm pretty sure, like I've said this before, I can do a better job than him.
I mean, at least you'll do the right job of facing the actual defense. I mean, the guy always has back.
I wouldn't turn around and just like look at the scoreboard. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go try out right now. Maybe not right now. Go stretch and everything, but maybe visit the chiropractor again. But it's just, I just hate these press conferences.
It's been pretty. I mean, Peterson's press conference this week was pretty chipper. He was good. I mean, he wasn't so snippy with anybody. But Shorts is the one who singled out Alex Singleton's interception. What was the exact quote that you said he said?
He said that, I'll tell you right now. He said he wasn't overly impressed by Alex Singleton's interception. He was just sort of there. Which, whatever. Like, okay. But he was there because he read the play correctly.
And he took it to the house.
And, yeah, so, like
a bulldozer.
The fact that he hit 20 miles per hour, that is fucking freight train at his size, and he took it to the house. So, number 47's like this. But he's fine. But
he's
Alex
just supposed
Singleton,
to be here. He's not supposed to be responsible for anybody.
Alex Singleton has the first return touchdown since Jalen Mills in 2017 in the regular season. Let's not bring up Patrick Robinson in the playoffs. Even him, since 2018, if you want to add Patrick Robinson, not impressed.
That was a freight train heading into the end zone.
All of this is going to lead to is Singleton not playing a snap next week at all on defense, even playing less special team snaps, and number 47 does everything.
Isn't it kind of weird that he disappeared after that? Like, we didn't see Singleton at all.
Because I can't.
There's no more reasoning.
I can't even try to figure out reasons anymore for this guy. He's just, I don't know.
All right, so let's forget about the depressing Jim Shorts, the depressing Nate Gary. Let's focus on the big guys that you've always said that you're a big fan of, the defensive line.
Jannard Avery came out to play. He showed flashes of the original 58. Not
He's
original,
nasty, bro.
but the best 58. It's Trent Cole. I have his jersey, and he 5 QB hits in a game. That has not happened. And I tweeted this out, and I can't remember like the exact order, but Brandon Graham did it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Fletcher Cox did it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Trent Cole did it twice, and I believe Michael Bennett also did it. That's it since 2006.
That's wild.
In a game. And now in his Eagles career, he has 7 QB hits in 80 snaps. 80 snaps.
He's nasty,
like
man.
that. Like yesterday, to put in perspective, number 47 played 79 snaps in a game. Jannard Avery has played, I believe, 8 games for the Eagles, 80 snaps on defense, 2 sacks, 8 tackles, 7 QB hits in a game's worth of snaps. That's better than what number 47 would ever do.
In which Jannard Avery is showing that he was actually worth the 4th round pick, which is phenomenal to see. Like, you're actually seeing how he actually get, something good in return for a player that was an outcast and the defense of the Cleveland Browns. So to see Avery like a wrecking ball out there was phenomenal, man. I mean, it was good.
He needs more playing time, but then we say this, and now we know it's not going to happen. Like,
wouldn't that piss you off as a front office exec though? Like,
yeah, but again, front office, head coaching disconnect here.
Yeah.
It's. I think. I don't know what I think anymore about this guy. Like, I keep trying to figure out like what he'll do next, but Sunday. Towards the end of the game, man-to-man was working for Jim Schwartz really, really well. Man-to-man was – and then all of a sudden they go back to zone, and that's when Beathard was just carving them up. If we know anything about number 47, is that zone is not his specialty.
He has no specialty.
Because when he's sitting in the zone, he's just like, do I need to go there? Do I need to go there? Do I need to go that way? Like, he has no idea where he is. So it's like, I don't know for this guy anymore, man. It's just, we saw flashes of what other players can do. I mean, Jim even said, okay, interception sucked. He didn't say it sucked, but he kind of meant it. But his run defense was great. Sorry, but the run defense the last few weeks has been terrible. So how about you put in a linebacker that can tackle? And so there you go, Alex Singleton.
I still don't get it. Like, what do Duke Riley and Nate Gary even provide this defense set to make you start them every single week, knowing that they struggle against everything that comes their way? You see, what is going on?
I'm convinced that Jim Schwartz loved Duke Riley's dance moves. Remember after that Falcons game when they were like celebrating the Super Bowl, and so he was like his little shit, like doing this, and Jim Schwartz loved it. So now he's rewarding him with the starting job.
So Jim Schwartz has this thing where whatever jersey his kids are repping, those are his guys. So they have Jalen Mills jersey. We know they have a Derek Barnett jersey. Do they have a Nate Gary jersey? It's a big question. The
big question for me now is who the hell is buying them a Nate Gary jersey?
Well, Nate Gary's number one fan, Jim Schwartz.
And who's buying them a Duke Riley jersey? First of all, speaking of number 47 jersey, someone tagged me today in Twitter. It was a authentic game-worn jersey by number 47 on the NFL Pro Shop, going for $900. Are you kidding me?
I mean, maybe we're missing something, but you know what? Let's forget about it. It's a good time to be an Eagles fan because we are in first place. We did see a very dominant defensive line. I don't want to be the negative Nancy about it, but we saw Malik Jackson go at it. We saw Javon Hargrave. We saw Brandon Graham. We saw Derek Barnett. We saw Jannard Avery. We saw Josh Sweat. I'm missing one key player that was a little bit missing since week one. Has been missing.
And his last name can also be part of your body if you're a male. And that part of your body needs to be tended to by Manscaped. Specifically, the Lawnmower 3.0. Lawnmower 3.0, when you're going around that last name of Fletcher, when you're going around there, make sure it's nice and smooth with the buzzer. Go up in your nose with the weed whacker. Some of you got long nose hairs. Some of you just stare in the mirror and it's coming out your nose and it's just like you pluck it. Just use the weed whacker. Or they have a whole ball toning set, ball deodorant. There's a ball toner and just spritz it on, makes it smell really good. The ball deodorant makes you shave no more. You rub it between your thighs, around your balls, and it's just like gliding. It's like Astro Glide. Not really, but it's really smooth.
It's
really smooth. So go to manscaped.com. Use FTB, flipping the birds for the balls. Find the backers, because we need some more linebackers. Flipping the birds, FTB, 20% off, free shipping. You get a free gift too if you order the Lawnmower 3.0. So it's common sense.
It's a gimme. That's code FTB for 20% off at manscaped.com. Now, should we put out an Amber Alert, or should we be concerned that Fletcher Cox has not yet shown up effectively this season? I know he has a couple QP hits. I know he has a couple hurries here and there. But my thing is, we talked about this before the season. Fletcher Cox is in the same conversation as Aaron Donald, but
he's supposed to.
Supposed to be. I don't want to use that, but let's use that. He's supposed to be in the same conversation. You're getting paid, it was about $22 million for the season?
Uh-huh.
You have to be more dominant. Imagine if he's at full strength, like dominant with this defensive line. Like, is him missing in action a big concern heading into weeks where we're going to face the Steelers, the Ravens?
You know, I thought he would be so dominant to start the season because of everybody around him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we looked at this defensive line, like you have Derek Barnett, you have Javon Hargrave, you have Malik Jackson, you have Brandon Graham, you have Josh Sweat coming in. You can't really double anyone, so this will be the year of Fletcher Cox where he has one-on-ones, but now he has one-on-ones and he's not really doing much.
Mm-hmm.
And like on the season, the Eagles are first in sacks with 17.
Yes.
I believe they're first in QB hits or QB knockdowns with 41.
Mm-hmm.
And they're up there in hurry. No, they're not really up there in hurry. So, like, I'll get to that in a minute. But so of the 17 sacks, Fletch has 1. Of the 40-something quarterback knockdowns, Fletch has 1. So, like, what the hell is he doing? Like, he is doing really well against the run.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like
he's not getting after the quarterback.
Yeah, no. The Eagles had 45 QB hits. He has 1 of them. 17 sacks. He has
scary?
1 of them. 23 tackles for loss. And he has 2 of them. So,
now, isn't it scary that your best defensive player is not doing
Sorry, 45 QB hits, he has 3 of them. But it's like he's your highest paid defensive player. And he's I mean, last year he had 3.5 sacks and he already has 1. Okay, great. But it's after 4 games, so he's on pace for 4. So, okay, great. He's gonna do more than last year. But it's not great. He has 8 tackles. He's on
right now.
I believe Joshua and Brandon Graham.
Wow.
It's been a collaborative effort defensively for sacks.
But
right
without
now,
their main player doing his
right. You have Joshua with 3, Brandon Graham with 3, Derek Barnett with 2.5 in 3 games, Jalen Mills with 1.5, Jannard Avery with 1.5, LeBlanc has 1. Like, the fact that 2 corners, 2 DBs have the same or if not more sacks than you, and you're a dominant, quote unquote, defensive tackle. Like, what the hell are you doing? And it's only like I feel like it's only going to get harder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he couldn't really do anything against the Bengals, and we were doing everything against the Bengals,
You're gonna start facing good offensive lines.
like the Steelers have a really good offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens have a really good offensive line. Giants, Dallas, we know they're supposed to be good. They're injured and all that. The Browns have a really good offensive line. And you go down the list. The Saints have a really good offensive line. The Packers have probably the best left tackle in the game, or right tackle, whatever Bakhtari is. You don't really face a really bad offensive line until you reach the Cardinals in December. So it's
right now they're on fire.
Right. So it's like, when is Fletcher Cox going to show up? And you would think he would treat this as maybe a de facto contract here, because he's seeing, like I've said this in another podcast, he's seeing all these different defensive tackles getting paid and paid and paid. I know he's paid, but maybe he's like, I'm going to get paid a little more, so I'm the highest defensive.
But they're doing the work, though. Like, these guys are putting in the work and the production.
Yeah,
for the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, right now he is stealing money from the Eagles.
Which they are going to enter a season, next offseason, with no cap space.
No, it's not no cap space. It's negative cap space. If they have no cap space, they'd be a lot better off.
They can't even go to no cap space because of players like him.
Right now, the Eagles are second in the league in 2020 cap dollars to defensive tackles, and that's between 4 guys. The Colts lead it, it's between 6 guys, and DeForest Buckner pretty much eats up most of it.
Oh, he's a savage, man.
The Rams are at 3rd, but Aaron Donald's contract. The Bengals are 4th with 2 players. They only have 2. They have 2 players eating up $24 million of cap space. But the Eagles' percentage of 2020 adjusted cap leads the league, 14.84% of their cap is just. So you got Aaron Donald is number 1 with $25 million. Fletcher Cox is number 2 with $23.8 million this year. Fletcher Cox makes up 10.74% of the 2020 cap.
That's wild.
And then you don't see another Eagles player until Malik Jackson has $4.6 million this year. I thought Javon Hargrave was a little bit easy. Maybe his contract kicks in a little later. Hargrave right now is $3.45 million. So the fact that the Eagles cap this year with defensive tackles is 32.9. Cox has 23.8 of that.
And it's sad to see that, because you expect. I mean, Cox he's a monster when he's on. He's a savage when he's on. He's unstoppable when he's on. But the fact of the matter is, he's not on enough. 3 sacks last season doesn't say to me one of the top defensive tackles in the league. 1 sack to start this season, 4 weeks in, while the rest of the defensive line is starting to eat up, doesn't say top defensive tackle in the league.
No.
If anything, right now, Malik Jackson is looking like one of the top defensive tackles. Javon Hargrave, the moment this kid gets comfortable and gets situated with this new scheme, he's going to be one of the top defensive tackles.
Probably top.
So the Eagles, they showed him, hey, they showed Fletcher Cox. They did Fletcher Cox what they didn't do to Carson Wentz. They gave Fletcher Cox the weapons. But now the weapons are outshining him. That's pretty much it.
They brought in pieces to let Fletcher Cox shine, so he didn't have the pressure all over him. And right now,
it's not looking good. And we're gonna, we have to keep an eye out. We have to keep an eye out for him. Sorry.
You drunk?
No, tired, man. I'm very tired. But we have to keep an eye on him against the Steelers and against the Ravens, because unless we see the same Malik Jackson, the same Javon Hargrave, same Jannard Avery against these 2 teams, then we don't have a chance. I mean, if we don't see that type of production from these guys.
And it's really, we want to talk great about the defensive line, which we are. The 17 sacks is phenomenal.
Yeah.
17, the fact that that's through 4 games, you're on pace for 34 by half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on pace for more than 60 sacks, 68 sacks, you like that quick math? It's holy shit. But last year and the year before that, we were harping on this defensive line not getting sacks and they're just getting pressures and all that because the quarterback is getting the ball out so quickly. The Eagles are 23rd in pressures this year, but they're 8th in QB hits and QB knockdowns.
They're getting back there quick,
and they're first in sacks. So what you're seeing is they're getting back there, but they're getting back there with ease. They're not, but like quarterbacks aren't hurrying into bad throws. So that's why we're not seeing the turnovers really, because quarterbacks have pretty much all the time in the world because the Eagles DBs, namely Darius Slay, are doing a really good job at covering so the defensive line can get home now. Now they don't have to get there in like 2 seconds. Jalen Mills had a fine game, but again, we need to remember, like, everybody, like, I love us as a fan base. We overreact to everything. Jalen Mills, oh my God, 2 catches for 8 yards or whatever it was. You're facing Deebo Samuel, who's come back from injury, his first game. And he did pretty well, 3 catches for 30-something yards. And then who else on the wide receivers? And you're facing Ayuk had the turtle over Mark Epps. Sanu didn't do anything.
I feel like no wide receivers really did anything.
Because Nick Mullins was a quarterback, and then Beathard came in way later. But when you have I know Mullins ripped apart the Giants, but you saw how bad he was. He wasn't missing. I mean, he wasn't making the mark on any wide receiver. So was it kind of skewed? I mean, can we see Jalen Mills do that against Deontay Johnson next week? Or, I mean, because we know Slay is going to be on Juju.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Chase Claypool? I mean, we've seen bigger receivers, bigger tight ends dominate these shorter corners and shorter safeties and linebackers named number 47. Like Chase Claypool may go off next week because he's so much bigger than the corners. We saw receivers do that again. We saw T. Higgins do that on Avonte Maddox.
Yeah.
And Cravon LeBlanc. Like, he's just getting up there and just going to get it.
No problem.
So what do you think Chase Claypool was going to do? So that's when, like, and I said this about Derek Barnett too. Like, we're praising Derek Barnett now because he did it against Trent Williams. Great. That's awesome. But the week before, he did it against tight ends. So if he does that next week against a really good offensive line again, and Jalen Mills does that again against Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool, then we could say, okay.
Then now we're talking.
But we're overreacting, which is fine because I never overreact actually, to such a small sample size of one game. We can't really pull it. We can pull positives, which is fine. Travis Fulgham, positive. You know,
which we didn't get to yet. But since we're talking Steelers, we've been doing a thing where Chris has been doing an article every week called Know Your Enemy. And we've been bringing on other writers of other blogs who cover the teams that we're facing to discuss the matchup at hand. So today we're actually going to bring in a friend of mine who's actually a big Steelers fan to discuss how the 3-0 Steelers will fare against the 1-2-1 Philadelphia Eagles. My guy, Troy Briggs. Troy, welcome to the show, brother.
What's up, B? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm all right. Chris, how you doing?
Good, Troy. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on.
Background in that.
Yeah, what is that?
Still work to be done.
I feel like that fits us more than it fits you guys. You guys are 3-0. We're kind of 1-2-1. So like, I think it better suits us in green over here somewhere.
We're not the best 3-0 team out there. I mean, let's be realistic about it. You know, the defense is a little inconsistent so far this year, but we know what that defense could do based on last year. And Ben's still working his way, you know, back into the groove. I mean, Carson's thrown for more yards than Ben, and everybody's, you know, bragging on Carson.
Yeah, he's the poster boy for I don't know what it is, honestly. For most hated, I guess. It's kind
of... that's the thing with Carson though. Like, he's so vilified for whatever reason. But then when you're comparing all these quarterbacks in the league, when you see like, is it this quarterback or this quarterback? Most of the time, is it this quarterback or Carson? Like
It's always
it's like he's the basis of comparison for pretty much. Do you want Deshaun Watson or do you want Carson? Do you want Dak or Carson? Do you want Daniel Jones or Carson? Like do you want Phillip Rivers or Carson? Like it's like you see, it's never like Phillip Rivers versus Dak. Do you want these two? It's put in quarterback versus Carson. I don't know what the dude did to anybody. Dude, he just hangs out in the forest and just shoots deer. It's just like
he shot the wrong deer, bro.
Maybe he
shot
did
Bambi.
wrong.
He pissed off Walt Disney, man.
Well, to address that though, you got to think about it like this, right? You're not anybody as a quarterback if you're not being compared against another quarterback, right?
Right.
Take Ben for instance. You know, Ben came into the league. Was that 2004 with Eli and Phillip Rivers, and it's the only reason that actually stopped was because I think we all quickly realized that it was going to be the quarterback who went to San Diego that was never going to win a Super Bowl. Eli got two, Ben got two, and then it kind of like, all right, well, they're both cemented. We know Phillip is not the problem. San Diego was the problem. Mm-hmm. So you don't want your quarterback to not be spoken about. Like, think about it. Look at Matt Ryan. Like, when you really look at Matt Ryan, you
what was that?
That was the wrong one.
That was great.
Don't randomize it, bro. I don't want to see no pictures of you.
No, I didn't upload those pictures. Don't worry.
Okay.
I didn't upload the before and after shots of Manscaped.
Oh. Oh man. But as I was saying, look at Matt Ryan. Nobody talks about Matt Ryan until Matt Ryan starts to stink, and Matt Ryan's gonna stink at some point every season. But Matt Ryan also puts up top 10 numbers every year.
They really don't talk about Matt Ryan that much.
And that's the point, right? Like so you kind of want Carson to be talked about. You want that pressure. You want him to keep trying to work to be better. I don't personally think that dude's having a terrible season. He's over 900 yards passing. He's a little low in the touchdown.
Barely, yeah.
So, like, I think that the dude needs a little bit of a push. You guys got the massively long injury list. I checked that out a little while ago, and I was like, you guys got more guys injured than you do starting on the field.
It's a couple pages long. Are you disguising yourself as Nate Gary?
What is happening right now?
All right. So 47, Nate Gary is our starting linebacker. We could talk about linebackers because your linebackers are phenomenal.
Oh, look at Rasul. He's in that picture too.
Nate Gary, he's the type of linebacker where he's the teacher's pet. He's Jim Schwartz's guy.
Not even the teacher's pet. What like what?
I can't take you serious.
what has he done? But like the fact that I know Jim said like, oh, he's won more games than but what has he won? Like he really hasn't won. Like has he ever been the guy to be like, oh, he saved the game? No, he's never been that guy, and he sucks. So it's like the fact that Eric, I just read that Eric Ebron.
He hasn't allowed an incompletion all season long, Troy. He's about, I think
he's 14? Like 14 for 4. Like quarterbacks targeting him is like 14 of 14 or 15 of 15 for like pretty much 200 yards and like a perfect passer rating, and that's not good. And Eric Ebron since 2018 has the most touchdown catches for tight ends. So put 2 + 2 together, and we're seeing an Eric Ebron fantasy game.
This is going to be a huge Eric Ebron week, in my opinion. It's actually going to get pretty ugly. We know that Ben, with the exception of Antonio Brown throughout his career, loves his tight ends. He made Heath Miller. He even made Jesse James look great for a year.
James did look good.
Yeah. Remember that guy? So like he's going to dump it to the tight end, and if your boy Jerry can't keep up. Thanks for letting me know who to pick up this week in fantasy, Brian. I don't have you this week.
I'm picking up in our league. Forget that.
He can't even
Aiden Hurst not doing nothing for me.
He can't even keep up with me, and I got bad knees, bad back.
Listen, time out. Let's put this out there. I won the league that I'm in with Troy last year. Okay. This year, I'm going through my Carson struggles. Okay, I'm 1-3. I'm going through my Philadelphia Eagles struggle, and I'm gonna get back on the horse, and I'm gonna win. I feel it in my bones. There's still work to be done. Look at that. There's still work to be done.
In our company league, I'm also 1-3. It's not very good. Like I have, like yesterday, my fantasy lineup this weekend was Wentz giving me 24 points, and I wouldn't have started him because I had Tannehill postponed. I had OBJ. Good start. He gave me 38 points. But then I decided to start KJ Hamler, who gave me 0 points. Greg Ward gave me 7.8. Kenyon Drake gave me 3.5. Clyde Edwards-Helaire gave me 12. Darren Waller gave me 15. But then Ridley, like, what the hell was that? Monday night, 0. Then I had Antonio Gibson on my bench with 22 points. So it wasn't good.
Well, Ridley's always been inconsistent to me.
Well, he was dominating the first 2 or 3 games, and I'm like, oh, okay. I pair him with OBJ, and I'm like, okay. And then 0 points.
Well, now that we talked about the Eagles linebackers, Troy, I'm not gonna lie, I have a bit of a fixation with your linebackers because they're always all over the place, man. They're
TJ Watt. Oh my God.
They're phenomenal.
They're young though,
and they're energetic, man.
They're very energetic. They are very energetic. I would put the Steelers linebackers up against any set of linebackers in the league, without a doubt. The weakest linebacker to me is Vince Williams, and I can make a strong argument why Vince Williams could start for at least another 25 teams, in this league at the inside linebacker position. He's the veteran guy that they all follow. But with that said, they miss more plays than I think people pay attention to, or maybe I'm just the one watching it that way. Because the same way you guys watch, Eagles games is the way I watch Steelers games. I'm looking for those areas, those focal points where I feel like we need to get better.
Mm-hmm.
TJ Watt is probably the most complete edge rusher I've seen since James Harrison, young James Harrison at that. He has every move, man. Your tackles better be ready because he comes from both sides. He uses inside moves, outside moves, long arm moves, rip moves, club moves. He's just not as strong as Aaron Donald, but can be very disruptive like an Aaron Donald. No, he's not Aaron Donald. I get it. But,
no,
I mean,
Aaron Donald.
No,
Aaron Donald got shut down by the Eagles, so it's Aaron Donald versus everybody else is a different Aaron Donald.
Yeah, but we had a healthy offensive line against Aaron Donald. We don't have an offensive line.
You think the offensive line is ready for the Steelers defense, though? The amount of pressure they've been putting on teams, these first 3 games.
Do you guys have a rugby player on your team?
Yeah, we do.
No, I don't think
you
so.
do?
Yeah, some special teamer. Oh, he might have got cut, as a matter of fact.
Okay, so we have a rugby player on the offensive line, so we're good to go. So, that's fine.
We have an advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, the Steelers do have our failed defensive tackle product, who's now a great offensive lineman in Alejandro Villanueva.
I'm sorry, I hate that guy, bro. That guy's terrible.
Really?
He's horrible. I wish I had control over this screen so I could start playing some of the terrible plays I see him make. This guy, he's on skates at least 70% of the game, right? He gets this love because of the whole flag saluting thing and his refusal to right. But Villanueva is to me our worst offensive lineman. He's going to continue to get praised. Like, I mean, watch this game Sunday, guys. Watch him specifically, and it's just Ben's feel for the pocket. I guess Ben's relationship with playing with him. He knows when to get out of the way and when to get rid of the ball because it's always Villanueva's guy that's going to bump him and knock him over to the ground, whether he threw the ball or not. I promise you, if you watch this game, you'll see the same thing.
Wow, okay.
I promise you.
Awesome.
Stop smiling like that, man. Fletcher Cox hasn't showed up yet.
It's a Derek Barnett game again, or Josh Sweat game again, or Alex Singleton game again.
No, it might be a Javon Hargrave game because
yes, he's coming home. Himself, he's coming home.
And we talked about this when the Eagles signed. I text you right away. I'm like, dude, tell me about him. Like, and you were just bragging about Hargrave. Like,
and then I wonder what happened.
He came to the Eagles. Anybody who comes to the Eagles gets hurt.
He was hurt in training.
It's like an initiation.
Mm-hmm. You got to get injured.
He still hasn't started the game for you guys.
Yeah, because de facto Fletcher Cox and Malik Jackson, they got to start. But with the way Jim Schwartz, the one thing he does do right is the defensive line rotation, and Hargrave gets enough snaps. Like he's building up. Like he's building
He'll
up.
get there, yeah.
I think last game was like 40 to 50 snaps, but he still had a sack or half sack, and he's a disruptor.
Half sack, yeah.
He's a disruptor.
He's very destructive.
Like you just see him use his hands, and he throws people to the side, and it's fantastic.
He clogs the middle like very few players that I can think of. When I think of Steelers history and guys who did what Hargraves was asked to do for us, the only one that comes to mind is Casey Hampton. You guys remember Casey Hampton?
Yep.
Big Casey Hampton, man. That guy had to be like 330, probably only like 6'1", 6'2", because he wasn't a very tall guy. But you could put 3 on him and it'd just be a pile at the line of scrimmage. You weren't pushing him backwards. And that's what Hargrave gave to us, and that's what I was looking forward to seeing him bring to the Eagles. Contrary to popular belief, Steeler fans don't hate Eagle fans too much. Just don't come out west talking that yang.
I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed because I was ready. Like my best friend is a Steelers fan, and we were so ready to go out there and go to the game, and it sucks that everything happened. And I was so ready to go over there with rocking everything and probably getting my ass kicked. But it's
you'd have got some dirty looks, probably some funny comments, but we don't hate the Eagles. And Philly fans, those guys are different. When you have to have a prison in your jail in your stadium, then this is a different type of person.
Wait. Don't all teams have prisons?
That jail was blown up. Like
now they do, but it started in Philly.
We had to start it for a reason. Like we had to set a trend, right?
Because you guys ice bombed Santa. Are you kidding me? Like who does that? Like Santa in front of the kids?
Santa didn't deliver that year. Okay, that's all it was. All right, he didn't show up.
Oh, speaking of your crowd, guys, I just need to know, how did you feel when the stadium guy doing the audio decided to boo Carson Wentz coming off the field 2 weeks ago?
It's Philly.
That's great.
It's a natural feeling. Like you expect it, but and honestly, like, and I'm a big Carson guy. You know this. At that moment, like he actually did deserve it because and it's funny because Carson.
I wish they would do it more.
Yeah, Carson and Ben are very identical quarterbacks. They're very big guys, heavy guys. I like to keep the play alive and do the thing. Obviously, Ben has gotten smarter towards the end of his career. I don't know if it's really the end, but towards this point in his career where he's throwing the ball away or he's just hanging tough, in the pocket. But Carson's thing is kind of like, I don't know, like he's not comfortable for some reason.
I was ready for Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben Carson Wentz season this year because Carson Wentz put the dad bod on over the offseason.
I thought he was going to be dragging people across.
He was compared coming out to Big Ben. He was just like similar stature, big arm, pretty mobile. And, obviously, Roethlisberger, as he's gone on in the years, a little less mobile. But when Roethlisberger came out, he was pretty damn mobile. Like, he'd go like 13-0 when he was a rookie or something like that. So it's like he was – and that was Wentz's comparison. I love that comparison because they're both big, 6'5", around like 250-ish. And I was like, okay, he's going to be able to shed some people off like Ben has for so many years. And now it's not happening. So it's now he's like people are comparing him more to like a Matt Ryan now. A lot of substance and afterwards.
I wouldn't compare him to Matt Ryan.
I wouldn't either, but
he's been more mobile now. He's moving.
But it's all right. Two things that I wanted to address on that, Chris. The first thing is Ben did start off very mobile, and Carson started off mobile. One thing happened to Carson that did not happen to Ben. Carson tore an ACL, right? That changes the way any quarterback stands in the pocket. The only quarterback who came back from that type of injury, and did not show a difference in the pocket was the one guy who had a rule change because he tore his ACL in the pocket, and that was Tom Brady, right? When guys are falling at your feet and you tore an ACL, it's just not the same. I guess it's like when you stub your toe. For the common guy to stub your toe on that table, you'll always look down when you walk around that table after it hurts enough. That's what an ACL will do to a quarterback. And a muddy pocket is a bad place because as regular guys, I think sometimes we forget just how fast this game happens, right? Mm-hmm. Like the average NFL plays 3 seconds or less, right, for the most part. 3 seconds. If you pick up your cup to take a sit, you've missed the whole play of football, right? So when guys are falling around and you know that they're around your legs and you already torn that ACL, and let's not forget about the bonus money and just the portions of it that they get when they're injured because they can't perform. And, the livelihood you want to build for yourself, okay, that weighs into your mind. They're only human beings. The second thing about that is Ben became less mobile because Ben racked up as many injuries as Carson did. Probably, I'm be honest with you, more by the time he was Carson's age. He had been injured way more than Carson has. The difference, though, is Ben's injuries were, I'm not going to say less, but they were the type that didn't necessarily have to sideline you. So he was able to play in a situation where today's NFL won't let Carson play. The medical doctors are going to say no. The team owner, president, GM are all going to say no. In Ben's day, it was, well, can you? Let him go. So you can't hold Carson to those standards. And it's funny, I'm sitting here wearing all of my Steelers stuff. I'm all draped out in my Steelers, and I love my Steelers, but I find myself defending Carson a lot here. Because I don't think that the kid's terrible. I don't think the kid is getting a fair shake. I don't think he's going to be successful when he comes to Pittsburgh next week. But
okay. Well, listen. How many undrafted free agents do you have on your wide receiver core?
None.
Okay. Okay. So how many undrafted free agents How many undrafted free agents do you have in your running backs core?
None.
Okay. So we got
Like you're just proving that the Steelers could draft better than the Eagles.
I mean, listen. We could throw all the players in a pool, in a draft pool, and we can we could put a dog treat on the names of each player, and we could call it a dog. Go get a treat one by one for each team, and I'm pretty sure the dog can draft better that way than Howie Roseman's been able to draft. It's terrible. But what I'm saying is, Carson Wentz can be successful because he has undrafted free agents and 6-round picks and cast-offs right there. That's his bread and butter.
His number one wide receiver is an undrafted free agent that was a quarterback in college.
They used to be a quarterback, yeah. So it's, and I like Greg Ward. He's like a lesser version of Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman was a quarterback in college. He's been so successful because he can use that knowledge to be where Tom Brady needed him to be without Tom Brady knowing he was there. He knew. Julian Edelman was like, listen, I'm going to be right here. Just throw it to me. Greg Ward can be that guy because he used to be a quarterback. He used to be a very successful quarterback. And then you got Travis Fulgham, who was drafted in the 6th round, and the Lions decided to, no, you're not good. But we saw what happened there. They have, in the running backs, they have Corey Clement, Super Bowl hero, undrafted free agent. Boston Scott was a 6th-round pick. I keep forgetting that he was actually drafted. He just screams. He just screams undrafted.
He screams undrafted.
Yes, to me, because the dude is 5'8". He weighs as much as my leg, and it's like why?
He's 200 pounds.
Boston Scott is no way in hell 200 pounds.
We gotta look this a long time out.
Because that means I'm only about 40 pounds heavier than him. There's no way. I definitely have 100 pounds on.
Boston Scott's weight.
He's 203 pounds. Get the hell out of here.
203 pounds.
He's a little bowling ball. He's 5'6", 203. Holy shit.
The thing is, though, at 203 pounds, he's standing next to most guys, especially his offensive linemen who are tipping over 300. So he's going to look smaller. Not that small of a guy. Listen, I understand you got so many injured players. I understand you're playing guys that you picked up in the local Piggly Wiggly during camp.
YMCA.
I get it. Yeah, exactly. Playing flag ball somewhere. I get it, right? But this defense that the Steelers are packing this year and last year is something different. It's Steel Curtain-esque. We need to shore up at the cornerback situation a little bit. I'm sorry, not cornerback, the safety position a little bit. We got Minka back there, but
don't remind me. I wrote such an elaborate.
He was a big Minka guy.
I wrote such an elaborate article last year. It got 30,000 views. And it was my best article, why the defense needs Minka Fitzpatrick. And Howie Roseman and Jim Schwartz ignored it. and we saw him go to you guys for a first-round pick. Who cares? It's a first-round pick. Like, the dude was worth everything.
He had a couple interceptions in his
He
first
was
game, right?
worth.
I cared. I cared a lot. When I saw, I was like, "Oh, are you kidding me?" Right? Until he started playing, I was like,
Exactly.
"Okay, no
That's my
problem."
guy. That's my first round pick.
It's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of like the Cowboys when they traded a first-round pick for Amari Cooper. It's like, holy shit, you just spent a first-round pick on a wide receiver, and then Cooper starts playing, and you're like, okay, maybe this is going to work out. Cooper
Here's
is
the
a
thing
little
about that.
less than that, but Minkah Fitzpatrick completely transformed that defense as soon as he came.
I'm sorry. I have to interject here. The value of a first-round pick from the value of a first-round pick given away by the Steelers organization versus one given away by the Cowboy organization
I know it's a little different.
is literally $100 bill versus a penny, right? We know the Steelers draft well. They have historically draft well, and the Cowboys have been historically hit or miss. Once Jimmy Johnson, walked out the door and Jerry stuck his chest out and said he was the one that put together the team that Jimmy won with, Cowboys haven't had very much success at first-round draft picks, right? Like, the only success they honestly had was the offensive lineman and Zeke. Everybody else after that was a flat bust.
They stole CeeDee Lamb from me.
Oh, you upset about that? I don't know. He's not looking the way I thought he would look so far this year.
Because he's crowded in there, man.
It is crowded.
There's smothering
It's very
him, man. He's going to
See,
Philly.
that bit him in the ass because they have all this offense. Great. Dak's throwing for
They have no
6,000 yards. Great. But that defense is awful. They're averaging 36 points a game. Everybody.
But the offense is averaging just as much. I mean,
they're averaging 36, and the Dallas offense averaging 35.
But
despite the fact, though, that I feel like they have a great inside linebacking core. I would have to look up the
Van Der Esch is injured, though.
And that's the problem, right? So when you look at the fact that Sean Lee probably hasn't played a full season in the last 8 years, like, I swear I don't remember this guy playing a full season.
I didn't know he's still in the league.
Yeah, he's still in the league,
injured.
and he's still highly productive.
Mm-hmm.
He played something like 10 games or something last season and almost charted 100 tackles. Like, that's production that's out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Leighton Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith. Like, that's a linebacker core for you. If they insist on playing this 3-4 with these defensive linemen who can't keep blocks off of them, and the linebackers are kind of, rendered null and void, especially when you lose two. Because Sean Lee not playing right now, and now Leighton Van Der Esch is out.
And,
so you just have Jalen Smith.
I have read from, and I obviously haven't been watching Cowboys crap because I'd rather watch paint dry, but it's like I've seen by so many Cowboys writers that Jalen Smith is not doing well this year. It's like I've read.
How can you?
Dominant.
I've read a lot.
How can you?
Look at it's like people are saying it's like night and day. Dude is like has no idea where he is. He's kind of like someone even said they'd rather have number 47 on Eagles than Jalen Smith right now. That's how bad.
Nobody said that. Nobody said
I read it. That's what I got.
No, you take that back.
I mean,
exactly.
I'd take Jalen Smith over him. Like, if they want to trade, fine, I'll do it.
The Cowboys' defensive line is notoriously bad. And guys, let's not forget football fundamentals, right? The defensive linemen are not on the field to make plays. They're literally pawns in a chess game. Mm-hmm. They have to eat up blocks. They have to keep the linebackers clear to roam. Jalen does not. Now he's the linebacker that I'm telling my offensive guards to go and get. You have no reason not to get this guy. They got a nose out here that my center can block one-on-one. Go and get in his way. We'll take our losses if we lose anything with the other linebackers. Get him out of the way, right? So that's a lot of pressure for what, third-year guy? Well, technically a second-year guy because he missed all of his first season.
He missed his first year.
So, I mean, it's going to be night and day. And the sophomore slump in the NFL is real because we're talking about the best football minds we could find, in this country, and some of them even from Canada and other countries, right? Who are dissecting film. And as a former athlete myself, I'm telling you, there's absolutely nothing you're going to do on that film on that field that film did not capture. If you watch enough of it, you'll learn everything you need to know. And I don't even have to tell you as a former athlete. Let's just remember what made Peyton Manning so great, right? Like everybody knew Peyton.
He was a student.
Preparation. Exactly. So what do you expect Jalen to do? And I feel like it's a similar situation, for you guys in the Eagles. And in all honesty, that's a situation I fear for the Steelers. If we go back the last, few seasons, when I say few seasons, I'm being, a little meek here, but we're notoriously thin in that offensive line. We refuse to draft offensive linemen before the third round, right? We get them, and our main guys go down, and then we're stuck, on roller skates, and then we have the worst left tackle, I believe, in the league, in Alejandro Villanueva. And Fletcher Cox is coming to town.
It's funny that you mention that because we just talked about the fact that this defensive line is showing up, but Fletcher actually isn't. It's Malik Jackson, it's Javon Hargrave, Jannard Avery, it's Brandon Graham, it's Josh Sweat, it's Derek Barnett. But the centerpiece of this defensive line, the quarterback of this defensive line,
the one who's making $23.8 million this year,
is not showing up. One sack. He had 3 sacks last season. 1 sack this season so far.
1 sack, 3 QB hits. The Eagles lead the league right in front of you guys. 17 sacks in the year, 45 QB hits, and Fletch has 1 and 3.
Which is a good problem to have for the Eagles.
Yeah, but if they didn't have Hargrave, if they didn't have Jackson, that's a huge problem if Cox is doing that. But it's still bad. We thought this defensive line. Again, they're doing great. But my thing is, I feel like their success right now is coming from better coverage on the back end. Mm-hmm. Last year, they weren't getting home because the coverage sucked last year. The quarterbacks were averaging 2 seconds. Snap the ball, 2 seconds, boom, complete pass. Right now, they're a little more than that, so it's giving the defensive line a little bit more time to get home and get these sacks. But they're not pressuring the quarterback if they're not rushing passes into back completion turnovers. So that's why we're only seeing 2 turnovers on the year, 2 interceptions. And it's just where the hell is the real Fletcher Cox? Over the past few years, he's battled a foot injury. We saw it against the Saints in the playoff game. We saw him battle a groin injury. We saw him battle a core injury. This year is his legs. He's battling so much, but now he's still eating 14% of the 10% of the cap space. And
there's a team that's going into the next offseason with about negative $68 million in cap space. Negative.
Wait, negative?
Yes, negative. Yeah, negative.
Their bank account looks worse than mine.
That's hard to do.
All right, well, hold on. Let me respond to Chris before we start laughing at this. That's a horrendous cap situation, but the Steelers are always that close as well.
They're not the worst.
Oh, I know. I know they're not the worst.
The Saints are worse.
Oh, Saints worse than Houston?
The Saints are worse. I think the Saints are negative $80 million or something.
Yeah, they're in there.
Ooh. Okay, so I guess I'm not going to defend Fletcher here, but
he's a great player.
I just want to ask you, what do you call showing up? I think is what I wanted to ask Chris, because if it's simply based on stats and numbers, I'll throw a stat out there. Huh?
I'm not a big box score guy. Look at the film and see what they're doing. And Fletcher's coming up in the run game, which he's pretty much been doing more over the past few years. He's not. His big sack numbers were a couple years ago, 10.5 sacks. And then a couple of years before that, it was 9.5. Those are really the outliers, or maybe it was reversed. But his average is really 4 or 5 sacks a year. But his bread and butter is just clogging up the run lanes. And we're really not even seeing that right now. We're seeing Fletch getting pushed down to the ground, and he's playing from his stomach most of the time.
It's very weird.
And it's not like him, right? And I've heard all these different stories about how lazy he is and his work ethic, and he's he got his money. I don't want to say he's pulling out Albert Haynesworth right now because that's a little extreme, but it's he's not the dominant Fletcher Cox he's not the first team All-Pro that we've seen before. He's not even the Pro Bowler that we've seen in the past. Right now he's a guy. Right now he's playing a rotational piece that's getting paid a whole lot of money to be a rotational piece.
Well, I mean, I guess that's that, because what I was going to say was I saw a wild next gen stat, or was it a Pro Football Focus stat midpoint last season that said Aaron Donald affects 70% of the plays when he's on the field, despite the fact that he may only chart a stat maybe 30% of the time, which is about average, right? For, defensive linemen, right? So to chart a stat is 30% of the plays that they make. And anybody who exceeds that are the ones who we rave about, like a J.J. Watt, right? And a Fletcher Cox, a season or two ago. But if him being on his stomach, means that 2 offensive linemen are occupied, I wouldn't be angry with that whatsoever, and I wouldn't call that a lack of showing up. But it seems to me like it's worse than what I thought when I was going into this particular soliloquy.
Well, it's tough when you see a player getting paid over $20 million a season, who's supposed to be he's supposed to be in the same tier as Aaron Donald.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's when you think about Fletcher, you think about, you know, he's supposed to be up there because he's the big bear, the Eagles. But the fact of the matter is just that he's falling. He's like it's like that Homer Simpson meme when he falls back into the bushes. That's literally what's happening. He's literally just falling back and like, okay, guys, nobody look this way.
Who's the best at math on this show right now? Anybody?
Chris is quick on his feet.
Chris, so Fletcher's best season, he had 50 solo tackles, right? Over, I'm assuming 16 games, right? Yeah. So how many tackles a game is that? 60
divided by 16. That's a little
50,
less. 50. So you got 32, 48. That's about 3.1.
Okay. So that's 3 tackles a game for Fletcher in his best season, and I believe he's at 7 right now in 4 games.
He's at 8.
8.
So solo tackles. He's solo. At 7. He's at 7 right now.
All right. So if you ask me, he's not too far behind pace. He's not even 2 full tackles behind his best pace. So, I mean, what is it that we're looking for Fletcher to do? When you are Fletcher Cox, when you are Aaron Donald, teams are going to send everybody they can. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at you. Unfortunately, for teams who throw the kitchen sink at Aaron Donald, he's strong enough to catch it and throw it back. Yeah. Fletcher is not Aaron Donald.
It's not even 2 hands; it's 1 hand.
like that Dallas guard, the right guard in Dallas. Like, this is an all-pro guard. He like uses him to throw the tackle out of the way. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, back to Fletcher.
Do that to Jason Kelce though.
No, Jason Kelce. I mean, those Kelce brothers, breed. Man. That's another conversation.
That man was raised in the woods by bears. All right? Jason Kelce's a different breed.
Maybe that's Carson's problem. He was raised in the woods with deer.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Kelce got the bears. They got the beer.
Yeah, Carson doesn't have a – damn,
Carson
that makes
to
so
grow
much
out his
sense.
beard.
You guys are terrible.
But, okay, so let's focus the task at hand because we turned Troy into an Eagles fan for a couple of segments. So – 1 o'clock game, Eagles going to face the Steelers. What are your key advantages or key points that the Steelers need to cover in order to take out the Eagles?
We've got to turn them into a one-dimensional team, and I don't necessarily mean turning them into a pass-only team. I need them to be all over the pass. I would like to see us go into a rush 3 and drop 8 type situation. I need Carson not throwing the ball. I want you to hand the ball off to your no-name running backs.
Whoa, no name. Hold on. Look, he's right there. You see that? There's no Sanders slander on this podcast, okay?
Listen. You guys been slandering Carson the whole podcast.
Do you know someone named Miles Sanders? Because
I know who Miles Sanders is from Penn State.
Damn right, you know who Miles Sanders is.
But here's the thing. Devin Bush came from Michigan. Devin Bush came from Michigan.
I don't care what.
Ask Devin when the last time Penn State beat Michigan. And sure enough, wasn't while Miles Sanders was there.
Okay, that's fine.
It wasn't while Miles was there. Saquon did it, I believe. Yeah, I think Saquon did it, but Miles didn't. And Devin Bush is standing right there in the middle.
Where's Saquon right now? He's at the doctor's office.
And Miles Sanders is standing right in the middle.
Miles Sanders, he's here.
He's here. Listen, Miles Sanders is the offensive weapon for us right now. Screen game, game.
He is the best player on the Eagles. Wild question. It's not Carson Wentz.
By a long shot.
It's Miles Sanders.
But it's him versus 4, is what I'm saying. I like those odds better.
That's breakfast.
I got 4 linebackers. My defensive line.
Your linebackers is lunch.
my defensive line will keep your offensive linemen off our linebackers for the most part. And it's a 4-on-1 game. Now, what I don't trust
your defensive line. How about that?
All right, we'll find out. But here's the thing: I wouldn't put that same amount of faith if you went and got Dez Bryant today and started him Sunday. I'd be very afraid
What is the likelihood that Alshon Jeffrey's starting on Sunday? A very, very, very 85% chance Alshon Jeffrey will be the number one.
We don't need them though. We have Travis Fulgham.
Stop it!
What a comedian this guy. All right, so here's the thing, though.
He can do though,
I was about to say, you have to treat him with respect. If you're Pittsburgh, you have to treat him with respect, because until we figure out what we're gonna do with this other safety position, and again, I don't love the corner situation, but Steve Nelson and Joe Hayden are two great corners, right? You got Minka over the top, who unfortunately can't stay over the top because in our defensive scheme, we like to have the safety somewhere around the box, right? He's typically a fifth linebacker, and that's what Minka's doing for us. But this guy, Sean Davis, Jordan Dangerfield's been with us for, I think, 3 seasons now, maybe 4. And then you have Terrell Edmonds and Marcus Allen, and none of them are playing consistent football. None. Mm-hmm. Right? So when you start throwing the ball, especially, when we're trying to cover deep thirds, like Carson will have a Fields day if we can't get enough pressure. I would like to say that Bud Dupree and TJ Watt can keep enough pressure on him, but I don't think that's a realistic, statement to make. On the offensive side, though, Steelers got to get the running game going. I've never been a fan of James Conner. I believe he's a change of pace back. I don't believe he is a every down back. He should be the change of pace guy. Unfortunately for me, Benny Snell seems to not be able to take this position from him. Mm-hmm. So we're stuck with James Conner in these little 3.1 yard runs that won't ever equate to a first down. And a lot of the times, him catching out of the backfield doesn't create an explosive play either. So keys for the Steelers, play soft zone, maybe zone blitz here and there. Dare the Eagles to run the ball. I want to see the Eagles to run the ball, and then on the other side, you have to run the ball.
Dare me to run the ball.
We've been waiting for that too. So it's
a wild thing. Like every week, we nag at the coach, like, run the damn ball.
We don't even know. We don't even know the status of Miles Sanders right now because
no, he's good.
At the end,
they said he's not injured. It's situational football.
Doug Peterson can say someone is not injured and they could be in the hospital the next day. Like that's Doug Peterson. And the fact that Corey Clement and Boston Scott got the final carries at the end of the game over Miles Sanders
is very concerning.
And Doug Peterson saying, "No, he's fine." That makes it more concerning for me. The fact that Miles Sanders was fine and you didn't.
I think it was more of a thing where Miles Sanders really couldn't get it going against the 49ers defense for some weird reason.
Care. Like, were you gonna give up on him?
Apparently,
it happens. That happens. You can't give up on him. I agree with Chris.
Up against
that
the
happens.
So settled for a tie.
Benny Snell ran all over the Giants and then done nothing since. Nothing.
You keep feeding
so it happens. Sometimes it's just a favorable matchup. Like it works in that back's favor. Sometimes you need a slasher. Sometimes you need a slippery guy, one of those elusive guys, and sometimes you just need a power back, somebody who'll put their shoulder into a defense and wear them down.
The Eagles are really missing a power right now. That's the problem. But Chris, feel free to chime in at any point. But I think the key to the Eagles winning this game is going to be the run game. I was going to say that beforehand.
I think it's going to be scoring more points than the Steelers.
I hate you.
That's gonna be hard though.
It is gonna be
hard. That's gonna be hard. Like the Steelers' offense, for some strange reason, just keep pulling points out of nowhere. Like right. I don't know.
What's the highest point total we have so far for the season?
I think 25. Is it didn't we just hit it?
Yeah, we just hit that against the 49ers.
So it's and that was because of Alex Singleton. So it's the offense was really 18.
Yeah.
So
no, for real.
Yeah. We have no offense. I mean, we have, like Chris said, our number one wide receiver is Greg Ward, practice squad guy last season, undrafted free agent, quarterback turned wide receiver. Travis Fulgham right now is a number 2, practice squad guy taken from the Packers, if I'm not mistaken. And then after that is 6th round rookie John Hightower, 6th round, right?
First game Eagles 17, second game Eagles 19, third game Eagles 23. Yesterday, Eagles 25, but 18 came from offense.
And Zach Ertz hasn't showed up yet this season.
Zach Ertz had 4 catches for 9 yards in the last game.
Yeah, but you guys are giving up more than 20 points every single week too. So it's kind of hard to keep scoring when you always you're in
And
throwaway situations.
That's the other thing. Like before, like I go into like a half-hour spiel. It's like this. People are going off like defenses first in yards given up or top 5 in yards given up. The offense has been so bad, with turnovers and things like that. Opponents are averaging a starting field position of their own 34-yard line, whereas everybody else is 30, 28, 29. That's third worst in the league. So when you only have to give up 60 to 56 yards, that's gonna, even if they go down a few times, it's 150, 200 yards again. But now they've scored 21 points already. They're giving up like I think around 300 yards a game. Great, but they're also giving up 28, 29 points a game. So it's like
it's rough.
You guys should be out here. Be on the lookout for the turnover bug too. Steelers defense, they keep finding the ball. I think we got 5 turnovers so far this season.
We're ending the pod.
That's hilarious.
Has 7 interceptions season to date right now.
Okay,
he's had only 7 interceptions the past 3 seasons in a row total.
He has 7 interceptions, and you guys turned the ball over 9 times. Okay, that's the reason why everybody's on his back. That's it right there. Like, I'd be all over his back too. Like, geez, Louise.
So, before we close out the pod and Chris has a heart attack, what is your prediction for the score on Sunday?
I'm gonna have to ride with my Steelers. I think that it's gonna be a bit of a high-scoring game. Give me the Steelers 34-30.
Eagles scoring 30. I'm happy about that.
I see us struggling. I see us struggling to defend the pass. I like Carson as a quarterback. You heard me all part, defending him. So I think they're gonna score. I just don't think they could come up with the game sealing stop that they'll need. It'll probably be the Steelers defense collecting a turnover that'll give us, the 4-point win.
I think I'll go a little closer. I think I'm going 24-21 Steelers.
We are on kind of a streak.
We are winning with our curse. There's a Flippin' the Birds curse.
The first 2 weeks we both predicted them to win and they lost. Third week we predicted them to win, but then we mentioned the possibility of a tie. And they tied. Last week, we said they would lose to the 49ers, and they won. So, the Eagles are going to get their asses beat on Sunday. The Eagles are just going to get their asses beat. It's going to be a reverse of what we saw Carson Wentz's rookie year, 34-3. No, it's not going to be that bad. But I just
give me some offense.
I just like, again, I love the players. I love the misfits that they brought on. I love Fulgham. I love Deontay Burnett. I love Ward. But like that defense, it's like I feel like no matter however the defense is struggling, whatever part of the defense is struggling for the Steelers, it's going to show up against lesser talent. And Joe Hayden is a perennial really good corner. And he's going to show up against Travis Fulgham or Greg Ward. Minka Fitzpatrick is going to show up against whoever they put him against. Like the fact that we have to roll out Richard Rodgers now. Maybe Jason Kroom. They protected him on who the hell is Jason Kroom? Like, it's like we have a lot of who players out there. Like, who the hell? Like, when Travis Fulgham caught that pass, everybody was like, who the hell was that? And now they know his name because he caught a touchdown. But like I want to be so confident that the Eagles will win. But they just faced a 49ers team that was decimated on injuries, and they barely beat them. It looks like they beat them pretty well, but because Singleton's interception or touchdown, it looked like it was about more than that. Now you're facing a Steelers team who just got gifted a bye, and they're healthy. And
they're fresh.
You're not facing an injured Deebo Samuel. You're not a washed Mohamed Sanu. You're facing Juju. You're facing Deontay Johnson. You're facing Chase Claypool. You're facing Eric Ebron. I can't see them winning at all. But now I'm setting that in stone. So now we know what's going to really happen on Sunday.
Okay.
So you're banking on the jinx, huh? You're banking on the reverse jinx?
It's working for us so far. So, yes, like I was, we're all hoping not hoping. We're all predicting the Steelers win. I'm hoping James Conner shows up because he's on my fantasy league. Yeah.
But we do have an announcement. First of all, Tavor, TAVOUR beer.
FTB10.
FTB10.
Skip that one. Let's go.
Speaking of FTB10, Flippin' the Birds, Philly Sports Network, we can finally announce it. We have partnered with a watch company called La Touraine. Look them up, LA-TOURINE. They're really, really nice watches. Really nice watches. FTB10, 10% off of a watch. Look it up. If you like watches, just go. It's a big, big time sponsor. And
what's the promo code?
FTB10.
Is that FTB10?
FTB10. That's why I said, speaking of FTB10.
I thought it was PSN10.
No, that's whatever. We can use our own for our own podcast. FTB10.
Okay.
Read the
FTB10. Listen, man, I've been busy today. Anyways, Troy, thank you for joining us today. I'm not sure if you're on Twitter. I don't even think I follow you on Twitter. But if you're on Twitter, where can everybody find you? I don't think I follow you on Twitter. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Twitter is Briggsy.
Real quick. Troy is my guy. Like, this is my guy. Like, this is my guy that not introduced me to football, but broadened my knowledge of football. Chris, shut up with whatever you're thinking in your head, but broadened my knowledge of football. So, yes, this is my guy, Troy, one of my great friends, close friend of mine. This is, yeah. So I'm very thankful for you. But yes, where can everybody find you, brother?
Briggsy, DGAF. That's at Briggsy, BRIGGZIE, DGAF.
If you don't know what DGAF means. Anyways.
Should probably change that, right?
A little bit. I mean,
Dallas Goddard and friends.
Dallas Goddard and her friends, yes. Anyways, we're Flipping the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron. He's Chris Infante. Make sure you guys tune in to next week. Until then.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir.